Everybody loves a good ghost story. It's just inherently interesting. We listen to it before we go to bed, we listen to it whenever we're out camping, huddled by the fire, and I don't think I could myself make a very good ghost story. I don't think I could make one that's really scary at all. But this one I'm about to tell you is very interesting because not only is it true, but it only involves one case of a ghost. One alleged case of a ghost. And it's more stupid than actual scary. And I'm of course talking about the house that I'm sure most people know about, and that is the Conjuring House. And right now, the Conjuring House is under a lot of drama. No ghosts have been cancelled, unfortunately, hundreds of years later. This has to do with the management of the Conjuring House and just the stories that have been recently coming out about it, especially when addressing the new owner. Now, I have to mention that everything is alleged. It's very important that I point this out, and you'll understand why as the story progresses. And really, there are a lot of layers when it comes to the drama surrounding this house, so I'm gonna go over a couple of them. Just know that there are a lot more stories about their management that are probably a lot more better, organized, but I wanted to point out the most interesting parts about it. So all of this has to do with the new owner of the Conjuring House by the name of Jacqueline Nunez. And the stories that have come out against Jacqueline Nunez are insane, in the sense that she is crazy, allegedly. I feel like it's important to start this off with the most insane story that I heard, and it has to do with Jason Hawes. Yes, that Jason Hawes from Ghost Hunter told another TikTok user by the name of Tiff's Ghost Talk a story about an employee. This story, by the way, has been picked up by news outlets, so it's picked up some steam. But the story basically goes like this. The employee by the name of Brian Dancero went into work at the Conjuring House, same as usual, but then he was confronted by the owner, and he was accused of stealing from the gift shop. Theft at any business is serious, no matter what kind of business it is. And Brian, of course, denied all these accusations, saying that these were untrue, but he ended up being fired. And the big damning piece of evidence against Brian, according to Jacqueline Nunez, the old owner of the house said that he had a history of stealing. The thing is, though, is that the old owner of the house was around during the 1800s. If you're doing if you're doing the math with me, the old owner is dead and has been dead for some time. But Jacqueline Nunez, a self-proclaimed medium, claims she was contacted by the ghost of the owner who told her that Brian O'Dancer was stealing. The thing is, though, despite how damning that piece of evidence is that the gift shop had something, not as damning of evidence: video and audio. Video and audio that could have easily proven or disproven that there was actual theft involved, to which Jacqueline Nunez refused to look at. I don't get it. Despite how silly that story is, I would be absolutely livid if my boss told me that I was fired because a ghost told her that I was stealing, especially when there's evidence that could easily prove that I wasn't. Because this isn't just wild accusations, this ended in the loss of somebody's job, which means no more money coming in. All over what a ghost said, allegedly. It's literally the SpongeBob episode where SpongeBob is like, yeah, I don't feel like it. Because I remember being frustrated during that episode, and this is just as equally frustrating. But this is not the only instance where Jacqueline Nunez had issues with employees. Because apparently there was an extremely large employee turnover at the Conjuring House. And moving on to something that's a little bit less alleged, because this was actually a post that was made by the Conjuring whatever website. Basically, it was a response due to, all of the criticisms that the Conjuring House was receiving recently. And the language that was used during this post was just extremely unprofessional because it included a lot of swearing, and it just seemed petty. And very clearly, it seemed like it was written by somebody that was a little bit off the rocker. Then not that long after, the official Instagram account for the Conjuring House got deleted, so, fishy stuff going on. Maybe it was ghosts. So obviously a lot of things are happening in a very relatively rapid succession, which brings me back to the employees, because there was I think it was like a podcast, a 2-hour-long podcast of ex-employees talking about their experience at the Conjuring House, and specifically with the owner, Jacqueline Nunez. Now, the owner claims that she fired all of these people, but they have receipts to back up that they actually quit, so That one maybe not so alleged. But the reason why a lot of these people said that they quit was because they kept getting harassed by Jacqueline Nunes. And one of the big things that they were threatened with were lawsuits. Which is why I'm saying alleged a lot, because lawsuits seem to be Jacqueline Nunes's bread and butter. In fact, I think the reason that she has the house in the first place is because of a settlement from a lawsuit that she did in the past. I don't know if that's true or not, but if it is, I'll put it on screen. This is somebody that allegedly passed lawsuits around like it was candy on Halloween, so not exactly somebody that you'd want to work with. And another thing that past employees had a problem with is the money. Because Jacqueline Nunes allegedly liked to, receive money, just didn't like to hand it out. There's one incident that I read where there was a barn near the property and people wanted to put, haunted items into the barn and kind of use it as a museum. But then things happened and then eventually, I forget if it was like varnish or something, but some kind of material, it caught fire and the barn burned. And this wasn't sabotage or anything, this was ruled an accident. Just a very, very unfortunate incident. To which Jacqueline Nunes said that, you know what, I will pay you the insurance on all the items that you lost. Good, right? Wrong. Because as time passed and the money wasn't coming, Jacqueline Nunes was asked about the money, which then apparently caused her to freak out, saying that, if you keep asking about the money, you're never gonna see this money. I'm not paying you money. You owe me money, actually. Even though she said that she would pay insurance. Allegedly. Also, going back to Brian, Ghost, the guy that was fired because of the ghost, he also claimed that he himself is owed money because he wasn't paid for the hours that he did. He doesn't have anything to prove this, of course, so, again, alleged. These are just a couple of stories that have to do with this house and the new management drama that it's currently under. A lot of them have to do with people not being paid properly or even at all, hence the high turnover rate and why there are a lot of employees who are leaving and quitting. Not being fired, quitting. Regardless, I really wanted to talk about this topic because the entire thing is just incredibly insane to me that it's being managed this way. And there are so many more stories that I just didn't include here because we'd be here for like a good hour, I think. And it seems like each week more and more stories are coming out against the management of the Conjuring House and specifically Jacqueline Nunes, and none of them paint a really good picture of her. Though, it's all alleged. All alleged. You can choose to believe it or not. It might not be true. It may be true. Some of it is true, like that post that I put on screen. That's 100% real. Very, very unprofessional language by, it's a business, it's a company. You'd expect to be a little bit more cordial, but that was not the case. Will employees be paid? Is this all just a whole load of hoopla, didn't happen, or did it actually happen? Well, find out next time on The Ghost Adventures is taken, Files is taken, Hunters are taken. The Ghost Audit. Yeah, The Ghost Audit. Find out next time on The Ghost Audit. I'm just having fun at this point. This is just a very interesting story. I'm sure more stuff is gonna come out about this story and this entire situation, but we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens. But that's it for me today. Thank you so much for watching, if indeed you still are. My name is Brockster, and I bid you all adieu. I didn't mean to lick my lips, by the way. It's really dry right now.